Most people think childhood trauma is about what happened to you. But the truth is, one of the most damaging forms of trauma is about what didn't happen. Childhood emotional neglect leaves no bruises, no dramatic scenes, and no obvious memories. But it can quietly rewire the way you see yourself and the world. And here's the shocking part. You could be living with it right now without even realizing it. This isn't about bad parents or obvious abuse. It's about growing up without the emotional presence, validation, and guidance you needed to feel secure in who you are. The signs often hide in your everyday life, showing up in ways that seem normal until you start connecting the dots. One of the first hidden signs is emotional numbness. You might go through your day without feeling deeply sad, but also without feeling deeply joyful. Life feels flat. You function, you smile, you even laugh. But it's like you're watching your life from a distance. This isn't laziness or lack of gratitude. It's the residue of growing up in an environment where emotions weren't recognized or welcomed. Another sign is feeling disconnected from others even in close relationships. You could be in a loving partnership, have supportive friends, or be surrounded by family, and still feel like something is missing. You might hold back the deepest parts of yourself, afraid of being misunderstood, or simply because vulnerability feels unfamiliar. Then there's the constant second-guessing. You make a decision, and within minutes, you're wondering if it was the right one. You replay conversations, question your instincts, and sometimes need others to confirm what you already know. That's because when your emotions weren't validated as a child, you learned to distrust your inner compass. Over time, many people with childhood emotional neglect become fiercely self-reliant. It looks like strength, but often it's a survival strategy. You learned that asking for help was pointless or risky, so now you carry the weight alone. Even when you're drowning, it can feel almost impossible to reach out. And then there's the quiet emptiness. Not dramatic sadness, just a persistent sense that something important is missing. You might try to fill it with achievements, relationships, or constant busyness, but no matter how much you do, that hollow feeling lingers in the background. Other signs hide in plain sight, like over-apologizing, downplaying your needs, or being harder on yourself than you'd ever be on anyone else. These habits aren't random, they're echoes of a childhood where your emotions were either invisible or inconvenient. The most dangerous thing about childhood emotional neglect is how invisible it is. You can be highly functional, successful, even admired, yet still carry these quiet wounds that shape your choices, your relationships, and your happiness. But here's the part you need to hear. It's not too late to change this. Healing starts with noticing the signs and understanding where they come from. It's about learning the emotional language you never got to speak and giving yourself the validation you've been missing. It might mean practicing naming your feelings, letting trusted people in, and challenging the belief that your needs don't matter. Childhood emotional neglect isn't your fault. You didn't choose it. But now you can choose to break the cycle, so you don't pass on the same silent wounds to the next generation. Awareness is your first step. And from there, every small act of self-connection is a piece of your healing. Because when you finally give yourself the care you didn't get back then, you'll realize that emptiness wasn't who you are. It was just a space waiting to be filled with the connection you deserve. We just uncovered one secret. There are hundreds more. Hit subscribe, share the insight, and let the next episode take you deeper, only on Mindscape Secrets.